Thank you, Cathaoirleach. On behalf of myself and the Sinn Féin team here in the Shannon, I want to extend my deepest sympathy to the wife and family of Peter Matthews and to acknowledge all of the work that he did when he was here and outside the House. Today, Cathaoirleach, well, before I actually talk about it, I'm going to talk about Grace, but before I do, I want to show you a picture. And while people here in Dublin last week were concerned about the storm and that their hair might be blown away or their hat might be blown off, this is what happened to the houses that are affected by Pyrite and Mica in Mayo. This is what happened. This is the houses. And I want you, Leader, as a matter of urgency, to ask the Minister to come into the House to update us on the expert group that he appointed to deal with the mica and the pyrite issue, because there are hundreds of homes across Mayo, and I know my colleague Pádraig McLaughlin has spoken about the thousands of homes across Donegal that are affected by this. And these people, and in Dublin, but in Dublin as well, they had a redress scheme. And we absolutely need a redress scheme.
A lot of people are excluded from that.
Yeah, but I don't think that there's any houses in Dublin that has ended up like this. Senator Norris. This is what people in Mayo and in Donegal have to contend with their houses falling down around them because there weren't proper standards put in place and the appalling building regulations that were there and the regulations on the quarries. And this has to be brought to an end, and this redress scheme has to be put in place immediately for these people. So I'm asking you, Leader, if he can come into the House as a matter of urgency. Today as well, Leader, I want to raise the issue of two reports that were published today into the foster home where the woman known as Grace was left for years. Even though allegations of rape and abuse of her and 47 intellectually disabled children were widely known, she was left there for nearly 20 years. I have just three questions I want Catherine Zabone to answer on behalf of the government she represents. Why was Grace abandoned by those whose duty it was to ensure she received the care she desperately needed as a vulnerable human being and as a citizen of this state? Who stopped the 2012 Conal Devine report being published up until now, 5 years later? And who stopped the 2015 report being published? We are told it was because there could have been criminal proceedings, or criminal proceedings may take place. But who has been arrested, and how many files have been sent to the DPP? I welcome the fact that a commission of investigation will be set up in the coming weeks, but where is the accountability? Most people, like me, are sick and tired of cover-up after cover-up. We are fed up of the protection of state institutions being sacrosanct. There is a vulnerable young woman at the centre of this scandal and many other vulnerable adults. We know that this is by no means an isolated case. The ad hoc approach of state services, whether they be provided directly by the state or contracted out other services or to other service providers, is an abomination. I do want to commend, finally, the whistleblower, the young social worker who acted as the whistleblower in this case. Her courage and tenacity she showed in exposing the plight of Grace is laudable. And like Maurice McCabe, I hope her actions serve to encourage others working in state institutions to come forward and expose the scandals and subsequent cover-ups that blight us as a nation. And while I'm on the subject, I want to say it's absolutely deplorable that the Commissioner is still in place 2 days into the report that's been done on Maurice McCabe.